Most men are waiting for the wrong signal. They're waiting for her to say it out loud, to be obvious, to make it easy. But here's what nobody tells you. The strongest signs of attraction a woman gives you are almost never spoken. They're silent. They're physical, and they happen right in front of you while you're busy looking somewhere else. One of the most overlooked, most misunderstood signals of all? The way she crosses her legs when you're around. You've seen it 100 times. You just never knew what you were actually looking at. Today that changes. Here's the first thing you need to understand. Nonverbal communication is more honest than anything a person says out loud. Think about it. Words are carefully chosen. People edit themselves in real time. They filter. They soften. They say what fits the situation. But the body doesn't do that. The body operates on instinct. The tiny shift of the feet, the angle of the shoulders, the way someone closes off or opens up their posture. These things happen automatically, beneath the level of conscious thought, and that's exactly why they matter. They leak the truth. Most people are walking through life completely blind to these signals, but the ones who learn to read them, they start seeing a layer of reality that everyone else is missing entirely. When a woman feels genuinely comfortable around someone, her body opens up. Her posture relaxes. Her gestures become natural and fluid. There's an ease to the way she moves and the way she takes up space. But the moment she feels guarded or uneasy, the opposite happens. Her body contracts. She creates distance. She builds invisible walls, and those walls show up in her physical behavior before she ever says a word. This isn't a conscious choice. It's the nervous system doing exactly what it was designed to do: protect or connect, depending on how safe a person feels. Now, leg crossing. On the surface, it looks like nothing. Just a casual automatic sitting habit. But pay close attention, and it tells you something remarkable about where her head is. The key isn't just whether she crosses her legs. It's the direction. It's the timing. It's what happens right before and right after. Picture this. You're sitting with a woman at a coffee shop in Chicago. The conversation is flowing, and you notice her legs are crossed, angled directly toward you. That's not an accident. When the body orients itself toward something, it's because the mind finds that thing appealing. It's a subconscious yes. It's her nervous system quietly saying, I want to be closer to this. Now flip the scenario. Her legs are crossed, but they're angled away from you. Her torso has shifted slightly in the opposite direction. Even if her words are perfectly polite, her body is doing something else entirely. It's creating a barrier. It's building distance. It's signaling on a level she may not even be aware of that she wants to disengage. This is why reading only words will always leave you confused. The body and the mouth are rarely telling the same story. There's another layer here that most men completely skip over. Watch what happens when she keeps adjusting, crossing, uncrossing, shifting, repositioning. A lot of men read this as nervousness and assume it's bad. But in many cases, it means something very different. It means she's hyper-aware of you. She's aware of how she's sitting, how she looks, the impression she's making. She's not uncomfortable with the room. She's conscious of you specifically. The detail that separates the two is tension. If her adjustments are smooth and natural, that's engagement. That's attraction working beneath the surface. If the movements are stiff, abrupt, almost mechanical, that points to genuine discomfort. Learn to feel the difference and you'll rarely misread a room again. Now here's the one most men never think about, and it might be the most honest signal of all. Defeat. People manage their faces. They manage their tone of voice. They can hold eye contact and smile on command. But almost nobody thinks about where their feet are pointing. And that's exactly why the feet are so revealing. If her feet are aimed toward you, her attention and energy are locked in. If they're angled toward the door or toward someone else across the room, her mind is already somewhere else regardless of what she's saying to your face. In a group setting, this becomes even more powerful. Watch who she's actually facing when nobody's talking directly to her. That's the person she's genuinely drawn to. And then there's proximity. When someone feels pulled toward you, they close the distance, but almost always in ways so small you could easily miss it. A slight lean forward during a story. A chair shifted an inch closer. These aren't accidents. They're the body doing what the mind wants to do but hasn't said yet. Contrast that with someone who keeps leaning back, maintaining space, keeping that physical buffer between you. That's a person who isn't ready to let the walls down. Not yet anyway. And this brings us to the most important idea in all of this. Real confidence, the kind that's actually attractive, is built on observation, not assumption. Most men do the opposite. They guess how she feels. They fill in the blanks with their own hopes or insecurities. And then they react to the story they invented, not what's actually happening. That instability shows. It makes everything more awkward and uncertain than it needs to be. But a man who grounds himself in what he actually observes, who watches for patterns over time, Instead of labeling every single moment, that man operates from a completely different place. He doesn't spiral. He doesn't overthink. He doesn't need to, because he's reading reality, not manufacturing it. And that kind of calm, grounded awareness is genuinely rare. Women notice it. They're drawn to it, because most men they've encountered are reacting constantly to their own internal noise, not to what's actually in front of them. Here's the truth underneath all of this. Attraction almost never announces itself. It builds slowly, quietly, in layers. It lives beneath the surface of conversation. Words can be shaped and controlled, but the body remains an honest witness to what a person actually feels. The crossing of a leg, the angle of a foot, the way she leans in or leans away. These are not small things. They are the real conversation, the one happening underneath the one you can hear. Start paying attention to that conversation and everything changes.